You guys ready? The meeting of the Board of Ellis County Commissioners will now come to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bobby, if you could call the roll.
Commissioner Joe LaRue.
Here.
Chair Butch Schleier.
Present.
Commissioner Neil Younger.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Okay. I don't believe there's any changes to the order of business tonight. There's no executive sessions. Prior minutes, March 21st. Gentlemen, get a chance to review?
Yep. Looks good.
Meetings minutes stand as submitted. Consent agenda, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Also move.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Any issues from persons not on the order of business? It looks quiet out there. Okay. Our next agenda item is the Western Kansas Child Advocacy Center. Lucretia?
Tall enough for this. Thank you for having me here. So I'm sorry we missed the update. Thank you. For funding we have previously received to let you know what we've been doing. Are all of you familiar with the CAC and what we do?
Thank you.
in our services. Okay. So in 2021, we have interviewed 68 children and teens for an allegation of physical or sexual abuse. And, that's the first part of that investigation. It's a interview in a non-leading, non-biased manner in our CAC where it's comfortable for the kids and teens. And our advocates, they followed up with the families. DCF referred them for medical exams and therapy 1,381 times. They're that huge support for them when they don't know what's going on or where to go, and there aren't a lot of resources out here for healing after that trauma. And so we had art facilitation sessions 26 times, which is a really great medium when there's just no words for them to process. So art's a really great avenue for them to do that when it's too hard to talk about. We have been involved in the court system 53 times. Whether that be for the criminal case or SYNC cases to keep kids safe. If they're not in the home, they're in DCF custody, or there's criminal charges. There was 26 sexual assault nurse examinations to make sure kids are safe, their bodies, and or to collect evidence. And this would have been at Hayes Med, which our advocates attend those medical exams to be that support. Or we also have a medical exam room at our office down the street. And so just making sure their bodies are safe. And then we provided therapy for 23 children and teens for 273 sessions. They're trauma-focused, specifically for that sexual and physical abuse, and it's just a long road to healing. And then our youth advocate provided mentorship to 8 kids 42 different times. And that's just a support person, a healthy, consistent person to be in their life. And there's really great outcomes from that, and they have hope for a better future. Then we also had our monthly MDT meetings, and it's a multidisciplinary team meeting, and that's held between us, the county attorney, Department for Children and Families, law enforcement, school systems sometimes, Compass, any other mental behavioral health, St. Francis, KBI if they're involved in cases. And so we all work together as a team and figure out the best plan and best services to keep these kids safe. And what's going to help them heal and have healthy, bright, successful futures. And so we've been pretty busy in Hayes, and it's sad that we're here, but also all of the healing and the teamwork, working on all of the agencies in this community to keep kids safe is really amazing. So that's kind of our update for 2021. And I don't have anything else. Do you guys have any questions for me?
It sounds like you're keeping real busy.
Yes, it's very busy. And we just expanded the Hayes office actually because the demand was so high. And if you want to stop by sometime, it's really great, and it's welcoming and comforting for the kids. So it's just a pretty neat place. It's where Quiznos used to be, if you haven't been by. So, and then the handouts I gave to you guys. So, we cover the 34 counties. And last year, out of those, we interviewed 586 kids. And so 68 of those were in Hayes. And that's just the overall goal, is to end child abuse and work together and help the kids heal from the trauma. It's not an event, it's a process. So.
Sure. Commissioners, you have any questions?
No, it just sounds like you guys are doing a lot of good work in a lot of communities out here in our part of the state, so thank you for that.
Yep. Thank you guys for your support. We appreciate it.
Commissioner Neal?
I guess I see the 10,000 on there with you expanding. Is that what you're going to request again for 23, or are you going to try to up that since you staff more people?
So we actually staff about the same amount, but we have a lot of interns. So Fort Hays State University, they've been partnering with us, and we've been getting a lot of interns, which is great because we do have such a high demand. So we haven't had an increase in a while for funding, and so we're requesting that, obviously, also just because the prices of everything are going up and the amount of services provided. And so this costs nothing to the children and families. So that's the biggest thing, is having funding to provide those services so they don't have to pay for that to heal from that trauma.
Okay. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
That's a special thing.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lucretia.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, and the next agenda item is the Center for Life Experience. Ann?
Good evening. I'm pleased to be here to update you, and then hope to have more information coming in the next month or so in what's happened in the since last June and when we were here. In terms of just who's on our board and who's giving service, Drew O'Brien was on our board, and as many of you may know, Drew graduated with his master's in business, and unfortunately, or not, better for him, but he moved to Kansas City to be closer to family. And so we did, he left at the end of January from our board, and Kaylee Connor left last fall from our board to assume another position with the grants from High Plains Mental Health Center, and she felt that she needed to step back. So we have replaced Kaylee with Lynn Ann Huntington, who you all may know. She was on the faculty in communications and journalism at Fort Hays State, and she is now retired, but she writes for the Hays Daily and is very active in our community. So she has filled one of the slots, and we're interviewing. The board is interviewing another candidate to fill our position. So again, we'll have 9 members, and when that's done on our board, and just a wonderful board, and we are so grateful for them. Our groups are doing after BC, which means, I guess it's not, have returned to BC levels before COVID levels, and as a matter of fact, most of them, at least 2 of our 3 groups are growing and doing very well, and we're working with the 3rd, and we're just continuing to go forward. We are finding we have more people coming to our groups because of the losses that have gone on during the last 2 years, and with COVID, and the fact that normal traditional methods of support and coping had not been available for 2 years, and basically people were just putting one foot in front of the other to survive when they had a loss, and we're not really dealing with a lot of the emotions that come and changes that come with it. And so we are now finding our groups are bringing in more people who have had those experiences and are now feeling the emotional, social, all the impact of grief and loss that they've had in the last couple of years. So our groups continue to grow. We just, on March 26th, were able to restart and have Healing Kids' Hearts retreat for kids from 7 to 12 years old. Again, we held that at the Senior Center, which was a neat experience this year. And they are very excited, as we are, to hopefully do that again next year. It was a great facility. It was just a great day. And we limit the number of children we can have to 20, and we had 18 registered. And so, and it's still amazing that so many of the losses are men, fathers, grandfathers, uncles, whatever. And so I think we need to remember that as we look at the needs in our community out there. that we lose those significant male gender impacts in our community for our kids. And it leaves more single families. So we were really pleased. They had a great time. We're working on getting a PowerPoint up and running and doing that. So you can all see pictures of that wonderful day. We also had a very good Christmas celebration this year for the first time in partnership with the Hayes Public Library. We had a candlelight service, and we had increased attendance at that and good participation. It was the first year that we did that, and the only major glitch was that at the library you can't have lit candles. So we had to improvise, and we used battery candles, but it still went well. We did receive a grant, and we have purchased the equipment so we can have what we call a hybrid groups, bring in people who, for one reason or another, either are living off a distance away or whatever, for some reason cannot come into our meetings. And we have requests from not only Ellis County, but outside. And so we now have all the hybrid equipment, a big screen and all that from a grant through the Hansen Foundation, to where we can put equipment out where they are, or if we have someone who's ill, we can Zoom them in and they can be a part of the group if there's some reason they can't get away. So we're excited about that, and we're getting up and running with the equipment. I'm not a techie person, so and I will never be a techie person, so I'm relying on a lot of good help with that. We did have an excellent fundraiser back in the fall with the Your Voice Through Cancer. We had a booth there, and we had baked goods, and then we also had a drawing, a 50-50 Christmas cash drawing, and we raised about $400. So someone had about $200. I can't remember her name. I apologize, I don't remember the winner, but she got a little extra cash for her Christmas, and that helped us too. We also continue to have social work students. We currently have a senior social work student doing her practicum with us, and that does help us. And her research project, you may get some information. She's working with the Chamber of Commerce, because we also added that membership this year to our organization. She's getting ready to send out a survey to the businesses affiliated with the Chamber of Commerce about the non-emotional impact of grief and loss in our community. And as you know, that was a point of conversation during the COVID, is, people who got sick and lost people and all these kinds of things, and how it impacted our business and those losses. So we're looking forward we're working on a survey to go out. She's working on that, and we hope to then process that and be able to get some good results that will tell us what's impacting more of our businesses for economic development and those kinds of things. We were pleased with finishing our year in a positive, very positive financial situation. We appreciate the support we get from the Schmidt Foundation. That helps us a great deal. We still have students who come from Fort Hays State and NCK, especially nursing students, who come to observe our groups and learn from the people in our groups. So, and they are very anxious to do that and appreciative of that, of the groups being willing to do that. We also, our partnership with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, the Hayes affiliate, continues. NAMI Hayes and I am about to step down from that position as chair. I've been chair for quite a few years, and now my co-chair is Karina Hudson, who will take over. And we are working toward an expansion. NAMI, Kansas, is dividing the state up into, and especially out here in western Kansas, where we have so few resources, areas. Instead of, in eastern Kansas, it's kind of by county, but out here, they're grouping counties and putting a paid staff member in each county. And so far, we just have one two paid staff members out here in western Kansas that are working hard and pulling together areas like up north, west, all over western Kansas, so that the National Alliance on Mental Illness will have a presence in all of the counties. And I think you may already all be aware, but at this present time, suicides are still continuing to go up. Through NAMI, I became aware of families and members and other people, 2 suicides in our area in the last week. So I think it's, this time of year, it seems to be really bad and be a difficult time. So I ask you all to be alert and sensitive to that. The only other thing that's going on is that in 52 days, I will be stepping down and retiring as chair of the center, as executive director of the Center for Life Experience. I started in January of 2001, so I've been there for quite a few years in my social work role, and it's a hard decision for me because I love what I do. And I think we offer a wonderful, much-needed service to our community. And I've been honored to meet a lot of wonderful people and form great friendships and relationships. And the board is working very hard with an offer to a final candidate for my position, so very well qualified. And I'm really hoping that we can work out the few kinks that are left and we can get that going again. So we're doing well. We look forward. It may not be me coming up here in June, it may be someone else, but we just keep going, and I feel very optimistic and positive about what we have been doing.
Well, it sounds like your group continues to grow.
Yes.
And it is a very important service you're providing to Ellis County. We do appreciate that, Ann.
It's in my heart, and I know there are a lot of people out there who we care deeply about. So we thank you very much for your support. I thank you very much personally for the support that the Commission has given to the center. And I look forward to continuing in many other volunteer roles in the community, and possibly with the center. If they still want me to hang around, I'll be volunteering. So,
Commissioner Neal, do you have any questions?
Thanks, Ann.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Joe?
Oh, just once again, Ann, specifically you, thank you for your 20-plus years of service to the community. So it's not gone unnoticed, and it's very appreciated.
Thank you very much. I have enjoyed every minute of it, but the body says, I got to slow down just a little bit and do some other things. So that's, like I said, I look forward to doing other volunteer things too. So
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Okay, our next agenda item is the EMS Medical Director contract. Anita?
Good evening, Danita Schrader, Ellis County EMS. I'm here with a revised medical director employment contract. In February, we brought the original one, and we had left out the COLA raise in there. So we added the wording saying that the medical director gets the COLA raise, the same as the other employees for the county. So tonight, I'm just asking that you sign the upgraded agreement, and that's all I have.
Okay. Commissioners, if you recall, it's just been a few weeks ago, we did provide a COLA increase to the Health Department Medical Director. And I think we told Danita we were going to do the same thing here.
Yep.
So do you have any questions for Danita? Okay, Commissioners, I'll make a motion to approve the updated EMS Medical Director pay agreement. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
All right. Thank you.
Danita.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is upgraded bottle or water bottle fillers. Darren?
Good evening, Commission. Darren Myers, County Administrator. Before you tonight is an option to consider upgrading 2 water fountains within this facility. One's right outside the door by the pop machines, vending machines, and one is directly above that upstairs. A couple weeks ago in our executive team meeting with staff, staff came up with the idea to save money in the future by upgrading the fountains and putting water bottle fillers on the current existing water fountains, that we could save money in the future by eliminating the use and purchase of Colgan water in several of the offices upstairs. And we did the similar type thing over at the Law Enforcement Center, and we looked at the amount of water that is being bought and compared to how much it costs us to replace it with a filter, with filtrated water, and within 2 years, it would have paid itself off. And that's probably almost been 2 years since we did that one already. The reason this one is here before you tonight, it was suggested or asked that we used with the ARPA funds, and we had kind of set that as directive from the commission previously, that any funding approved with the use of ARPA funds, no matter its size, this is about $3,700, would be approved from the commission on all the purchases with, like I said, with the ARPA funds. And with that, I'll stand for any questions that the commission may have.
You're talking about the 2 water fountains here in the administrative building.
Correct. The one here in the basement and one upstairs as you come
Now,
in.
do all of the departments upstairs and downstairs want to get rid of any bottled water they now have?
The clerk's office, appraiser's office, and treasury currently in the IT department all have the 5-gallon station jug things. And they've all said yes, that they would remove their Colgan water. I'm not sure if it's Colgan water or not, but
Lindsay Spring is one of them that we use at Colligan.
we'll be able to remove those and then use those, the filtrated water out here, as long as they were routinely cleaned and by Glassman or a service provider, and then the filters would also be replaced on a timely basis to make sure that they're getting good water.
One of the concerns I have with this is if we go this route, it's going to cause disruption in those departments to get up and go out and fill their water bottles and things like that, which they're not doing now. And I guess the concern is, after that might go on for a couple years, they might decide they want their bulk water back. Have you thought about that?
Sorta. Part of that goes back to 2 of the 4 offices are elected officials. And if they were to choose to go back to that, that would be the elected officials' offices' decisions. Within their budget authority, they would be able to do so. But we would have control over the appraiser and the IT and departments that says, no, you would not be able to do that. And I don't think we'll have any issues in the future, as long as they're cleaned and the filters would be changed. And we can keep an eye on it as well and make sure that those aren't coming back into use in the offices.
Now you say here in your explanation, Darren, that we could save from $1,000 to $2,000 per year. That's pretty widespread. Is it closer to 1,000 or closer to 2,000?
It's closer to 2,000. When we looked at the office, I didn't look at all the individual monthly charges and go throughout the year. When we looked at the sheriff's office, it was right around $1,600, I believe, is what they spent a year just in their office. And they had said that they used it quite a bit. So if you want to postpone this, we sure could, and I can get you the exact numbers for what each department spends annually.
Is the sheriff still using bulk water?
No, they got rid of their fountain,
Got rid
or
of
they
their-
got rid of their stand and got the water fountain installed.
And that's working good for him?
the sheriff was supportive of the idea and said it worked great. He was at the meeting.
Okay.
Like I said, we can postpone it, and I can get you the exact numbers. I'm not sure if you know how much exactly you spend a year.
I guess I'd like to hear from what the other commissioners think about this. In some way, this is kind of getting into the weeds with this money. I know we've had some of our subsidized agencies request more money from us, which they could sure use it. And then we're talking about, water bottles. So I'd just like to hear what other commissioners might have to say about this too. Commissioner Neal?
With the 5-gallon or 6-gallon water, like you said, the cost of the cups, or they fill their water bottles, I feel we got available water here from the city, more water to come here in the future. My place of business, we went to all that, hopefully this is the same system where you can fill a water bottle underneath it, a little more sanitary, I guess I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I like the idea of putting the new ones in. And
Commissioner Joe?
From the perspective of future cost savings, I would be supportive of it.
Okay, is there a motion for this?
yeah, I'll move to approve the installation of 2 water fountain bottles, fillers, using ARPA funding.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
I'll
Thank you,
still
Darren.
go ahead and research in 2021 how much the 4 departments use total for the purchasing of water, and I'll get back with the commission on that so you know the exact dollar amount.
Okay. The next agenda item is the Western Kansas Congressional reception. Darren?
Before you tonight is an idea to potentially attend with the city staff, which the mayor and the city manager is here as well, the Western Kansas Congressional reception held in Washington, D.C. on May 9th. As to all the details of the reception, I'll leave those questions to either Toby or Mason if they'd be willing to come up and speak to it. I believe they have several city commissioners, and Sarah Wassinger, I believe, and Doug Williams with Grow Hayes is also attending, and their airport manager. But there's Finney County, Seward County, Barton, Ford, and the city Hayes have usually attended in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going out there and meeting on, as Toby would say, on their home turf in their offices to meet on issues in regards to what is happening in Western Kansas, our needs and issues and concerns. And just first off, seeing if any of the commissioners, I know we spoke individually about this, just to see if there was any interest on behalf of one of you being able to attend, or somebody else in the county staff. And
What is the approximate cost to go to this?
so the normal fees that Toby had said in regards to how the reception is actually paid for is each county, city, they rotate it annually. And then all the costs of the reception, the meals, the hall, the rentals, they all split that up individually. And I put on here $400 to $500 is what it would cost to pay for our portion. That's an estimate. That's not fully known yet. And then your normal cost for air travel, some hotel rooms, and some of your food for a 3-day trip.
Do we know what the approximate cost of that would be?
I'd say the good airfare amount, and Toby has his prices booked, but probably $1,000 for a flight, maybe a little less, a couple $100 for your food, and you're going to be paying DC rates for a hotel, so they're probably $250 a night. So I would say per person, $2,000 would be a good estimate. And then on top of, you'd have the help and reimburse for the overall reception. Between that would be split between all of the cities and counties.
Okay. I did run this by several of my constituents. All of them said, no, let's not do it. And when I stopped to try to think through this, and I give this a lot of deliberation, commissioners, my first reaction is, what are we going to gain from this? What's the benefit? and I know we're going to meet our senators and congressmen here. Our senators and congressmen aren't hard to meet now. If we need to contact them about an issue, we can do so with a phone call or an email. They respond well. I think since I've been on this board, Senator Moran has been here probably 3 times. Senator Marshall has been here a couple of times. And I believe Representative Mann has been here for a couple of town hall meetings just in recent months. So I don't know that we're going to gain anything as far as getting an issue resolved by going to Washington and spending the money. In addition to that, as I look around, our taxpayers are faced with just unprecedented inflation right now. They have fuel prices that are going wild, and we don't know where they're going to land yet. Homeowners just got hit with increased valuations last week. Their property taxes are going to go up, and they're going to skyrocket if the 489 bond issue is passed, to the point it might be unaffordable for some homeowners. And I think as our taxpayers start sorting through these things, many are going to find they can't afford a vacation this year, or are going to be very reluctant to take one. And I just can't see spending money for someone to take a trip to Washington, what really is not going to give us a benefit in the end. So that's kind of where I'm standing on this issue. Commissioner Joe, what's your thoughts and feelings?
Well, as interesting as it sounds, I have a child graduating from high school right about when you guys are going out, and since I don't know which one's picking out my nursing home one day, I'm going to stay here. So, but thank you for the invitation.
Are you in favor of the issue?
I think from the networking opportunity would be good, but as you pointed out, you know, our elected officials, both local and nationally, are very accessible. I would be curious as to the content of whatever functions will go on more so than anything else. And I suppose that this is your opportunity to kind of use that as a segue to, you know, is it just a, hey, here we are kind of a trip, or are there educational sessions, networking opportunities? What exactly would the itinerary include?
Toby Doherty, Hayes City Manager. Thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me to speak to you tonight. This event started back in the 80s as a way for 5 communities at the time, Hayes, Garden City, Dodge City, Liberal, and Great Bend, to go to Washington, D.C. and meet with the Department of Transportation about the Essential Air Service Program. There was a time until about 2012 where those 5 communities were bid as a group, as a package. And so every year, those communities would go out and meet with the Department of Transportation. Sometime in the late 80s, early 90s, the communities themselves, I wasn't around, the communities themselves decided maybe we should make a little more out of it if we have a group going to DC anyway. And so what the event has evolved to is it is still the same 5 communities along with the associated counties. And then you will typically see economic development officials, Chamber of Commerce officials, and then officials from entities like Sunflower Energy, Black Hills Energy, or hospitals. You will see officials out there. So it is a one-day event. In the morning, there is a staffer briefing at the Capitol Visitor Center. The group rents a room, a conference room at the Capitol Visitor Center, and everybody that attends, all the attendees from the various communities, will meet in a conference room, and then the staffers provide briefings and then question and answers on various topics. The topics can run the gamut from irrigation, farm bill, healthcare, transportation. The topics come from the communities themselves. And so for each topic, there will be a representative from the 2 senators and congressmen, and they will speak to the current issues surrounding the topic, the upcoming issues. There'll be a question and answer from people in the room, and then they'll move on to the next topic. So that kind of comprises the morning. In the afternoon, the groups break up, and they typically meet with their legislators individually. So if there's a Hayes, Ellis County group, we would typically go and then talk about whatever the topical issues you may have to visit with your legislative group about. And then everybody reconvenes at 5 o'clock, and there is a reception it's titled the staffer reception. It was put in place to show the staffers the appreciation for all the work they do. As much as we appreciate Senators Marshall, Moran, and the congressmen, it's the staffers that do the heavy lifting. And I know we are very familiar with the Hayes staffers and Kansas staffers for each one of those legislators, and they're very good, but they have a lot of staffers in D.C. that a lot of times we don't see. One of the things that's nice about this event is to be able to meet those staffers, to be able to network with those staffers, figure out which staffer specializes in what issues, and then use that potentially to follow up when you need a contact with either your congressman or your senator. I know I have been to D.C. a few times on specific issues where I didn't need to meet with the legislator at the time. I just met with the staffer on a specific issue to help us out with it. So that's essentially the day, and then everybody comes home the next day. And I would stand for any questions if you have any.
It sounds like much of this meeting, so to speak, is just information gathering on the different topics as presented by the staffers.
Most of it is. Sometimes it is topical for us to advocate our legislative delegation on a specific issue, and if that's the opportunity, we take advantage of it. And Darren used the word meet with them on their turf, and I think there is a value to that. Can you quantify the value? No, it's difficult, but
Sure.
To be in DC and advocate for your specific issue in their office, with the group, that does have some value, but it's very difficult to quantify.
But I know, one of the issues I have with this is it's the wrong request at the wrong time, because a lot of our taxpayers are just struggling right now. And then we're taking their hard-earned tax dollars and running off to D.C. with it. So that's the issue I have. Commissioner Neal?
People at my place of work, I visited with some of them that have been there already. But if you get the opportunity to go to it, it was very informational. Yes, we can visit back and forth, email, Zoom. I hate that, but I would rather be the eye to eye. This way they can look me in the eye and say, yes, we're going to do this, no, we're not. So I would be honored to go and represent Ellis County.
But do you really think you're going to resolve any issue while you're there?
Possibly, if we get one.
Which one?
Issue. Which one? That's
Which
right.
one?
Which one? Yeah.
Our unemployment problem? The high cost of housing? The water issue?
That's United States wide. That's not just
I know.
Ellis County.
I don't think Mayor Pete's got any idea how to get pilots back on the air. He hasn't expressed anything so far.
Right.
So anyhow, you're in favor of the issue.
Yep. I would be honored to go
I'm
represent
opposed
Ellis
to the
County.
issue. Joe, it's up to you.
Well, again, I am supportive of it. If I were able to go, I would actually do so at my own expense if need be. It's just I'm unable with the scheduling conflict to go. I suppose the benefit derived is pretty subjective, and everybody's going to define that differently, but I think it would be a good opportunity.
Okay, so are you supportive of the issue?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then there are two commissioners supportive of the issue. So I guess if Commissioner Neal wants to go, that's fine. I don't know if Darren wants to go, whatever you guys agree to. But I guess two commissioners will let this thing go. Okay?
I'll definitely work with Commissioner Younger in the coming days. I know travel gets booked up and everything, get you registered and everything. So
Do you?
Thank you, Toby.
thanks, Toby.
Do you think we should have our administrator go also?
It's up to our administrator, I guess.
Okay.
Yep.
Joe, what are your thoughts?
Well, to be blunt, do you feel that you need to go, Darren?
Do I need to go? No.
Yeah.
Would it be a good experience? Yes. With the experience, the question of what the experience would be, I'd fall back on Commissioner Schleier's response and being able to justify it to the public. When we start discussing trying to advocate for our local issues in western Kansas, when we start discussing trying to show the community that we're working together in our community on issues, whether it be unemployment to water issues to fight, I think a wider base of support is a value, and I think that the legislature in DC would appreciate that. But I will stay back. I will go. This is a commission, or a decision I will let the commission make as to if you would like me to go. I'm available, yes. If not, I'm not going to be heartbroken and stay back.
I think falling somewhere in the middle, having to try to control cost as much as possible in deference to the points you've brought up, having one representative would be kind of that compromise. And I think whatever issues we'd like Commissioner Younger to have information on and be ready to represent the community with, we could visit with him beforehand as a group to do that.
Okay. So
What, I guess, what is the city going to, how many are going to participate in the city?
It's been a couple years since we have participated. Well, COVID put a stop to it for a couple years. Last year, it was actually held in Liberal. Liberal was a host city last year. And so knowing that they weren't going to get anything in DC, they had a small event in Liberal. And at that point, it was myself, the assistant manager, Doug Williams, and Sarah Wassinger participated in that from Hayes. This year, Great Bend's the host city. And it's been a few years since the city commissioners have sent a representative at all. And there was a couple years where we had other obligations that couldn't go. So at this time, we have 3 commissioners that are attending, and myself, and then the assistant city manager. And as the county administrator mentioned, the airport director is also going. One thing I failed to mention is after we break for lunch, while there's a group that goes and visits with the legislators, there's a group of 2 from each community that go to the DOT and have the meetings with them on the Essential Air Service program. So the assistant manager and the airport director will go to that, and then the others will be part of the group that visits with our legislators.
Okay, thank you.
But we've sent anywhere from 1 commissioner to this, and then there's years we have been the host city where we've had all 5 go. It just depends on the year.
okay.
Okay, I guess my thought is that I think Darren should go too, especially that we got him an assistant, and he can pick up on some of that and bring some information back. I can bring information back. That's my thought.
If I may ask this, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
That's fine.
interject. I know here lately with some of the ARPA-funded projects, we've had a little bit of flexibility. We've come in under initial estimates. Would we be able to fund this out of some ARPA funds available?
There's several projects, especially the admin HVAC project has come in significantly under budget by a couple $100,000. But yes, that would be an option that we could use. I would feel more that would fit appropriately under the contingency, which is we have $140,000 that usually we only spend about a third of it. It would be more appropriately line itemed out of that budget.
Okay. So bottom line, this is something that wouldn't hurt the budget. It would be within our budget.
Correct. No, it would not cause, it's hard to say, we're in April, but it would be, I would not foresee causing any department to go over budget because of it. We would stay within our grounds.
Okay. If Commissioner Neal would like you to be there, I'll support that.
I just feel, Chair, that this is his full-time position. I'm doing this part-time / full-time at night, but
So,
it would be good to have
okay.
him there.
And I'd be more than willing to give a full report once I return, as well as Commissioner Younger. And if I feel that it's not appropriate for us to attend in the future, I would be completely honest with the commission.
Okay. Sounds good.
I think each year is probably a little different, depending on what type of issues that are out there that need to be addressed as well.
Okay. Thank you again, Toby.
Thank you.
Okay, County Administrator report. Darren?
I have three quick things for the commission tonight. The first is honored to say at last weekend, we had the Ellis County Fire Department hosted the 134th Annual Kansas State Firefighters Association. It's the largest participation that they've seen in many years. We had 199 firefighters attend over the weekend. And one nice thing that we were able to accomplish at our banquet on Saturday night out at the Hilton Garden Inn, actually I'm going to stop right there. I think the staff, the convention staff out at the Hilton Garden Inn went above and beyond, and I would recommend any association or organization to book that space. They were excellent to work for. The food was excellent. The service was excellent. The space was very nice. You know, it's brand new. You expect it to be nice, but everything worked. Not a single complaint. But Saturday night's banquet, we have an auction and a raffle. And all the 100% of the proceeds go back to fund scholarships for the next year for the sons or daughters of firefighters attending college. And we raised at the auction alone $10,004, and then between the raffle and some shirt sales, it was just over $16,000, and hopefully that'll be able to fund 7 scholarships next year at the conference, which is down near Wichita. And I also wanted to remind, but also give appreciation to the commission that the commission did support the lunch on Friday. The lunch was a sandwich, box meal soup and sandwich that we had provided for all the firefighters. And it was announced, and had several firefighters from across the state. I can't remember their names. Half of them I didn't know, but they did say that it was very nice to see at a convention or a conference that the county commission sponsored it. And I did recognize it up there that it was an appreciation to everybody that helps each other throughout the state in the time of need through mutual aid requests. So thanks again for that support. Second item. I wanted to recognize our Register of Deeds. Just yesterday, she surpassed her 44th year work anniversary with Ellis County. You don't see that very much in today's date, but she, on April 3rd, I believe, was her 44th year. So congratulations to Becky Herzog. And the last thing I wanted to mention was Grow Hayes put out an announcement today, invited the commission. I believe you each received an email in regards to their housing project just to the east of Home Depot. Or Hayes Medical Center, April 8th at 4 to 5 p.m. They would like to invite you out there to that development so you can walk through and see all the houses before they are occupied by new homeowners. And with that, that's all I got.
Okay. County Commission reports. Commissioner Joe.
I don't have anything, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Neal.
Yeah, I attended the Grow Hayes meeting, and then I also would like to thank HR for the nice newsletter that they put out. And I was just going to wish a couple of people happy birthday on there. William Van Dyke is today and tomorrow, which he's with he's with the Sheriff's Department Public Works. Dennis Johnson is tomorrow. Also want to thank our volunteer firefighters and the whole staff of Ellis County for the job they do. There's 127 different calls or different, and I also did go to, Darren invited me to the Kansas State Firefighters Association, and he asked me to speak. It was not a speak, it was an honor to be there, to see that many people with full-time jobs / volunteer to support all the communities. That morning before I came there, I told Darren that I went through the motels and seen all the different counties and different places that also help support our community with the rooms. And then the only other thing I have is I was going to see if the fellow commissioners would be, I guess if you just hand them down, would be interested in putting a light at 280th and Munzer Road. There's been a lot of talk amongst people out there. The light that intersection, guess the owner of the bar disconnected that, so it is a very dark intersection, especially with the people at the bar, and then the one in Catherine closing. Our traffic has increased tremendously, so that is the price of a light right there. And right now, we have, I think, 15 of that style and 2 of the 72 style that we could find this morning throughout the county already. So I'm just asking what your guys' thoughts are on lighting this intersection up.
I'm sure it's dark.
Very dark.
I wouldn't have a problem putting a light there. Neil?
Okay.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. It sounds unsafe, and
Yeah.
It is.
we
It's-
should address that.
Okay,
Okay,
all right, that's all I have.
okay, and
I'll let Greg know about
that and
get it
I
ordered.
was just gonna say, who do we need to let next in line, so.
I had a meeting last week with Dave and Doug from Grow Hayes. It was a good meeting. We agree on most issues, and a couple we disagree on, but it's a good meeting. They're good guys, trying to do a lot for the community. And also want to give a shout out to Kim Reel, our Health Department Director. We got an email from Kim,
Yes.
and it sounds like she's getting things back under control in the Health Department. It impressed me, she's looking for 2 more grants to take up. I'm familiar with those grants. They're going to be challenging. It shows real ambition on her part. And then also finding it difficult to find an RN, looking to get an LPN in place. So a big shout out to her. I think she's doing a good job. And that's all I have.
I would like to see Kim, if we could, get a hold of her and see if she would come in and kind of tell us how the training that they all went to, that we approved,
The
so
Governor's
just-
Public Health Conference.
yes.
Yeah.
that would be nice.
We'll also say in regards to the health department, but the governor's office put out a press release that the governor has declared that we're moving out of a pandemic and into the endemic as of this week. So that's also good news for the state of Kansas.
Absolutely. Okay, and if there's no further business, the Board of Commissioners will adjourn at 5:53.